Finally, I'm going to be honest. I have been holding on to this piece of content for I don't know how many weeks because I knew it. I couldn't prove it. And I was just doing other things where all I could do was just sit back and wait until I actually got results because I didn't want to put a piece of content out here that was not going to guide new entrepreneurs in the right direction based on my theory, right? I really wanted the facts. And then came the facts, but I had to wait on the results. So I just did a quick Google search and I asked, are there any results yet on the class action lawsuit against Facebook and their misrepresentation of outreaching on their ads? Yes, there are results available. So the answer is yes, but I what I discovered is there could be more than one class action lawsuit against Facebook. So I had to go back and say, no, not that lawsuit, not that class action lawsuit. I'm talking about this class action lawsuit. And so the answer to the lawsuit regarding overstating the outreach in Facebook advertising? The answer is finally yes. Meta, Facebook's parent company, is facing a class action lawsuit for alleging overstating the potential reach of its ads, which plaintiffs claim led them to overpay for advertising. DC Reserve et al. Versus Meta Platforms is proceeding to a jury trial in October of 2025. That's where we are right now. The advertisers allege that Meta inflated its potential reach metric by as much as 400% by counting multiple social media accounts, including duplicate and fake accounts, rather than unique individual users. Documents reviewed in the case reportedly show that Meta executives were aware for years that the reach metrics were inflated but failed to fix the issue. Allegedly stated, an internal memo from a product manager allegedly stated that the company was generating revenue it should have never made, given the fact it's based on wrong data. Overspending by advertisers claim that they based their ad spending decisions on the misleading reach figures and would have paid less or not purchased the ads at all had they known the true numbers. Plaintiffs have estimated that damages could exceed $7 billion. In January 2025, the Supreme Court declined to hear Meta appeal, allowing the class action lawsuit to move forward. The upcoming trial is scheduled to begin October 14th, 2025, in the U.S. District Court in the Northern District of California. So at this point, we know for a fact, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So, yes, I've been saying it for years, and now I finally have the proof. You cannot trust the algorithm. Translation, we were paying for air. That means the money you spent on ads, the visibility you thought you were buying, the engagement you were told to expect, it was inflated, manipulated. And for years, we were left blaming ourselves. Maybe my content isn't good enough. Maybe my audience just doesn't care. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. But now we know better. The problem wasn't you, it was the system. It wasn't bad content, it was bad math. When I started my baking business back in 2006, I didn't start out running ads. I really hadn't paid for marketing and advertising in the baking business or the previous businesses that I had had before. And in the baking business, um, I had built the business up by literally, I mean, when I say bootstrapping, I'm talking boots and straps. I had started from the ground up. And so I had reached a point in the baking business where I could just post my cakes and, I could get hundreds, 1,500 views, steady orders, loyal customers. And we're not even talking about emails, would just be instant reactions, for example. But I had a loyal customer base for 10 years. But when I decided to invest in ads, I thought, well, I've built up this following. So if I start, it's, the business is working, it's doing well. So yeah, go ahead and throw a couple of dollars in there and boost, what you already have. But I tell you, when I decided to invest in ads, everything flipped. The blinders literally came off. Suddenly I was paying for, yeah, I was paying to get 5,000 views. Great, but not a single customer. Just looky-loos. That was my first clue that something wasn't right. It didn't stop there. I tested SEO also. And it was weird because I ran the ad, I set up the ad, with my 2 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent keywords. It was a luxury to spend a quarter on a keyword. So I set up my ads, and then I have this thing where I love to watch my analytics. And I literally watched my 5 cent keywords shoot up to a bill for $110 in less than 15 minutes. Now, we're talking about the difference between Facebook ads and Google SEO. So, yes, I was getting the visibility, but $110 every 15 minutes, that's a $400 hour. And I had already had that bad experience. And so I'm thinking I may not get any ads from this. And this is running up a pretty hefty tab. Sure enough, I didn't get any more sales. Ad that I ran, more looky-loos. Now, that's my experience for the type of business that I had. So I can only share my experience. That may not be somebody else's, and that's fine. But my point is, I knew that either my ads were not reaching the amount of people that I thought it was reaching, or it wasn't reaching the right people that I thought it was reaching. Either way, something was wrong. There was a flaw. I don't need ads to bring in applause. That's not marketing, that's entertainment. I don't need vanity metrics and attention. That does not pay my bills. Customers do. So when I make an effort, especially if I'm paying for it, I need to see results. And so I realized fast what was supposed to boost my business was actually draining it instead. And nothing will crush a small business faster than pouring money into something that does not work. So here's the bigger picture. Ads is not a strategy. Ads is an amplifier. I want you to think of it this way. You have to master generating leads and converting those leads into sales first. Once you've got that system working organically, effortlessly, effectively for your business, then sure, test some ads, try a billboard, run a magazine ad, run social media ads, whatever it is that works for your audience to find and see. Because this way, you're building on what already works. You've got a baseline. a measuring stick. Now you can compare what you've already achieved for free to what your paid traffic actually delivers. But if you don't have a baseline, every dollar is a gamble. And too often entrepreneurs assume maybe I should spend more money because this is not working. When in reality, the platform itself could be broken. An ad is not going to fix a broken system, it'll just break your budget. That's the only thing it's going to do. So you've got to know what works first before you start pouring money into it. And this lawsuit, to me, it just proves it. Ads weren't broken because of you, of by they were broken by design. So what's the alternative? You can't afford to wait. You need direct, organic, authentic ways to promote your business right now, to generate leads right now, to convert them into sales right now. It's difficult enough to get leads. When you get them, you need to make sure they're converting. And that's where strategy comes in. Strategy doesn't mean complicated software and expensive funnels. You may not be able to beat the algorithm, but you can go around it. And that's exactly what I teach here at No Boss. Strategies built for small businesses, solo entrepreneurs, freelancers, digital nomads, micro businesses, all designed to generate real sales without inflated numbers or false promises. And I'll break down each strategy so you can finally start seeing results without paying for reach that isn't even real. I'm Lisa with No Boss, and this time I told you so.